Hi. No. And don't keep asking. I'm not gonna be, alright? Everything's worse now. So many people here. So many people saying goodbye. Is this supposed to make everything okay? Make everyone feel better? It's just... it doesn't change anything, does it? Every day is going to be worse now. Don't you get that? I want to be alone for a while, okay?
That was really thoughtful, Mateo. Thank you. Does anyone else want to say anything? Thank you. If anyone else wants to say something.
I don't often speak about what I believe in. It seems so redundant with how I live. But death is one of those occasions where it's hard not to look inward. Our friend is gone. There's no afterlife or second meetings. No God in heaven that is curating a perfect ending. So it's up to us. We are what lives on. The pain of loss inspires us to greater action, then that is the good that comes from it. Humanity is what truly creates our world. We are the ones that judge things to be good or evil, joyful or mournful. Let us take responsibility for it. Let us remember what we have lost.
Walter, are you part of the House of Enlightenment? I never knew that.
Yes, well, I like to keep some things private.
Everyone is in mourning. I understand, but I cannot quite share in their emotion. I have seen death. I have lost people I considered close. But this is... it is not the same. I cannot explain why. I am not sure I am making sense. Thank you.
Chat for a bit? Normally, I hate talking to people at funerals, but, well. You don't believe in the afterlife, do you? I mean, this might be the worst time to bring it up, but... It's comforting, isn't it? You haven't really lost someone. You're just waiting to see them again. And you don't even need proof. You just need to believe it. Well, I've taken up enough of your time.
It almost feels wrong to be grieving. Selfish. No amount of tears will bring the dead back. It's just easier to feel guilty, if you'll excuse me.
I don't believe we've met. Ajay Mamasa, former chair of Constellation. I wish the circumstances of my visit were better. Unfortunately, this isn't the first Constellation funeral I've been to. After 35 years, you say goodbye to a lot of friends. I hope you don't mind me saying, but I feel numb just thinking about it. Sarah meant the world to me. She was the future. I knew it as soon as I met her. Exactly the same as when you met her, I bet. Determined. Fearless. With just a small hint of delight on her face when she knew she was winning, eh? My only problem as a mentor was trying to convince her to be more tactful. Those old military instincts would always get her in trouble. Oh yes, I was Sebastian Banks's protege, if that gives you any idea of how long I was part of our little club. Knew him, argued with him, tried to carry on his memory when he vanished. Sebastian will be back tomorrow, we always used to say. It reminded us that he was still here, in the bones of this old building. Yes, she could make me so angry, or so happy. We used to joke that we were married. I bet relationships in Constellation are still messy, aren't they? They're more of a family than an organization. All the former lines bleed together. It makes the losses sting harder. But I hope it means the time you had together was all the more important. That's how I like to think of it anyway.
I hope this is all okay. Between fixing things up and sending out messengers and getting all the paperwork done. It's not much. Good. I... Good. Sorry, if I talk any longer, I'm gonna start crying. Could you excuse me?
I am told these types of gatherings are a sad occasion. That assumption appears to be correct. No, I don't. I'm programmed to analyze sensory and biometric data so I can cross-reference. But I do not feel as you seem to imply. I appreciate you verifying my analysis, although I am certain my thanks will do little to improve your current psychological trauma. If you would like, though, I can add some consoling language to my programming. Very well.
You all might not like thinking about this, but when we die, everything about us breaks down, decomposes, gets eaten up by insects and microbes. Or due to the lack of a biosphere, we are simply carried away by space and time until we sizzle in a distant sun's corona or get pulled in some gravitational field and coalesce with other debris. Not comforting, huh? But I disagree. Do you know what I find uncomfortable? The thought that after I die, the universe is just going to stand still forever. Could you imagine? The fact is that the universe goes on, that life goes on, that things do not just sit still. That right there is the comfort that I need. Yeah, we die, and some people go way before they should. But the universe doesn't care, not because it's evil, but because it's infinite, ever expanding. And who wouldn't want to be a part of infinity, even if it's just for a short while? Listen, we don't worry about ourselves before we were born, do we? Of course not. We emerge from the universe as we return to it. And for one beautiful moment, we are here together.
Yes, that certainly was an interesting perspective, Barrett.
You know, what you're feeling right now is a chemical reaction whose evolutionary goal is promoting social cohesion. Never seems to work for me. No matter how many times I do this, I feel less attached, not more. I wrote the book on them. The 10 Stages of Grief by A. Barrett. Step 1 used to be have a drink. But nowadays I settle on a good chocolate bar. You know, if there's one piece of advice I can actually give you, it's that lost loved ones have a way of coming back to you. One day you'll be sweeping out some old shelf or digging through a desk, and there it'll be. Some old paperweight of theirs, or a piece of jewelry they gave you, half jokingly. Theoretically, of course. Maybe I like knowing no matter how far I run to the edges of space, someone is going to find their way back to me. Let's talk. When you have time, of course.
Is it quieter in the lodge, or is it just me? Death is a bastard. Comes for us all. You know, there's an old Aquila story about two pioneers who got lost trying to find a new frontier to settle. One of them takes ill. Clear he's not gonna make it, he turns to his partner and says, "Don't bury me. Let the ground take what it's due. I'd rather be a ghost chasing after you than walk through the pearly gates knowing an eternity of loneliness until you get there." Sad story, huh? Yeah, you got me. I hate funerals. Hey, when you get a moment, can we talk? Lodge sure feels like a lonelier place. Good talking to you.
Drink? Pour one out to the blackest sea? Two old friends. May their ghosts go past the edges of space, to the great beyond. Aye.
Well, isn't this a surprise?
Feel free to ask if you've got questions. Speak up if you have ideas. We're all here for the same reason. I thought I had a grip on the situation. I'm not so sure anymore. The Sanctum Universum believes that God wanted us to travel the stars. That's gotten us here. Could this be the next step in that journey? Is this what we were meant to learn out here? Could that be God? Or a way to reach him? I knew we were onto something big with the artifacts, but it's beyond anything I could have imagined. The one thing I'm sure of is that we have to see this through. We need to find the rest of the artifacts. Take care of yourself.
Hey there.
Hey, Sarah's friend. You come to enlist at long last? Start earning your stripes with the Vanguard? Well, all right. Take the elevator down to the Vanguard Orientation Hall. You can get started at any of the registration terminals. The system will walk you through the rest. And if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
One day, I'm gonna leave New Atlantis. For good.
If I can get some buy-in on this venture, it will really take off. Stop by anytime you'd like to catch up. I really love this place. Couldn't imagine living anywhere.
Oh, hey! You came back! How was the Unity? Did it give you more space powers? Can I watch Noelle if she wants you to test them again? Funny. Constellation doesn't really talk about that part, do we? Going to somewhere means you're leaving from somewhere, you know? That was some adventure, huh? I know it's not really over. It never is. But I think we've all earned a break, don't you?
Well, what do you know? Had a feeling things might go this way. With everything Constellation's been through together, saying goodbye just wasn't enough. Looks like we both couldn't go through with it. That's just it. Without each other, going into the unknown would be lonely and pointless. But when you have people, you can lose them. Okay, the Unity. What'd you see? I guess the multiverse likes a good metaphor. One person standing inside forever. Nice touch. You know the way I see it? You get the best of both worlds. Everything you know is here. And if you ever feel like leaving it behind, Unity is just there waiting. Not every explorer gets that kind of luxury. You count on blessings, you know? You are straight out of one of those film noir novels. Working undercover and thwarting the bad guys. Just walking around the key makes my skin crawl. How'd you pull it off? Thank God you were running point. You must have ice in your veins or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, helping SysDef was never on my bucket list. Commander Akande, he really wasn't as much of a tight ass as I was expecting. And ultimately, he had your back, so I guess here's to SysDef. Oh, shucks. Well, this victory, really, it's all you. I just wanted to say, when we first teamed up, I had a good feeling about you. But this, you really helped people. Helped everyone. I can't wait for our next adventure.
I would move the stars for you. But I hope it does not come to that. You need something, dearest? Do you want to hear me say that you make me deliriously happy? Because you do. Then I shall be sure and tell you more often, darling.
This looks a lot less like a mind-bending experience of space and time and more like us hanging around like we always do. I mean, did we all choose to come back? This is an explorers group, right? You see, that's where the Unity made a mistake. Never let people back out of a life-altering experience. They'll choose the familiar every time. All right, let's salvage something from this wreckage. The Unity. Tell me you took notes. Hey, you're trying to make a perfectly reasonable idea seem far-fetched. Oh well, better luck next time. Look, I know everyone's probably overjoyed to see you, especially now that they had a moment where you might have been gone for good. But I'm telling you, take the jump. Get out there into that next universe. And yeah, I know I'm being hypocritical, but you know what I mean. Got a minute to chat? Maybe a few minutes. Probably not hours, though. But no guarantees.
I was just thinking about you.
Are you working toward that next technological leap? Then I'm the industry. Welcome off-worlder to the Hotel Bola. Your original forward.
Another crime ring investigation. Move along.
I do like visitors, but Stroud Eklund doesn't run itself. Feel free to look around. Stroud Eklund is the peak of ship manufacturing design. Oh, has he now? My dear young man, what have you talked him into? And what better way than to leverage a starship builder? How very clever. Back before Walter and I married, he confessed that he had stashed away a credit stick in a copy of Around the World in 80 Days. Somewhere between a rainy day fund and a slush fund, he said he'd always had a bit of extra money set aside in case opportunities arose. I can't really fault him. They're his credits. He can do as he likes. But over the years, it's become something of a joke between us. When he wants to take a chance on something, it's his way of asking without asking if it's all right with me. I suppose it is. Sweeter when it pans out, but he does have a nose for these things. I'll draw up the appropriate paperwork for the funds. Thank you for bringing me his message.
if I was rich, this whole business venture thing would be so much easier.
Whoa. This is really happening. Okay, I just lost the ability to think for a moment there. Hang on, give me a second. Whew, all right. That's really fantastic news. But we can't celebrate just yet. We're going to need at least one more solid investor. Oh, I'm sure he could fund most of the business in New Atlantis, if he doesn't already. That's not the point. If I put this all in the hands of a single investor, whoever that is suddenly has a lot of influence. If I have at least 2 investors to start, then one person isn't pulling all the strings, if any strings have to get pulled. Have I mentioned I'm not great with metaphors? So, having Walter backing us is fantastic, but I'd feel much better if there was a third party involved. If you know anyone, now's the time to call in a favor. Very clever. You are kidding, right? You do? I mean, are you really serious about this? Look, I would gladly take your credits if it means you and I can be partners on this, but I'm not trying to guilt you into it. So before you commit, I'm going to give you one last chance to back out. Okay? Wow. Wow! This is so amazing! It's you and me. Well, and Walter. But I'm sure it'll all work out. I'm afraid there's not much in the moment I can do to really thank you for this, but I promise you it will pay off. I've got some people to talk to, and a trip to Galbank in my future. Thank you again so much. Catch you later.